Hello and welcome back to another one of my videos. This time I'm going to be talking about something which I think quite a few of you will appreciate, and it is the Matchbox 172 scale Vickers Wellesley Mark 1. Now, yes, the box is in a very bad state, and I got it like this, pretty much. When I saw it in the shop, I said I've got to buy this in this state, and I got it at a decent price. But yeah, this is the original issue. It's the 1979 issue of the model. As you can see here on the side, 1979 Lesney Products Company Limited, made in England. So that's the front cover, and I think some of you will be very familiar with this. Like me, you've seen this before in the shop. Unlike me, you may have picked it up immediately. I never did, and I only picked it up subsequently. And I've never built this. Okay, and one reason why I bought this, apart from the fact that it's a Matchbox, is because it's a very unusual plane and everything else. And I was at that time I was getting into this thing about long range aircraft and long range operations, and stuff like that. So when I saw this, I said, "Wow, this is nice. I should get this." Now, what you see on the side is that profile thing, which tells you that there are three colors. It's black, green, and chocolate brown. And then on the side here, another image of the aircraft. But the highlight, and for those of us who are of a certain age, is that, right? The back always had, of Matchbox kits, always had this where they show you the two decal options that you're going to get. And they invariably always had two options. And so you have this one, and then you have the long range development unit. And this is a bomber based in RAF Amman. Quite appropriate, actually, if you think about it. Transjordan. And interesting thing, of course, is this. That window, brings back so many memories for me. And picking up the Matchbox kits, looking at them, peering in at the parts, looking at what you get, basically, without having to open the box. I always thought this was such a great idea. I don't think any other model manufacturer has ever done this, to be honest. I don't think so. Not to my knowledge. But anyway, that's what it looks like. I mean, for those of us, again, who are familiar with this, I'm just giving you that, like as if you yourself are looking into it again, right? All those years ago. That's what it looks like. So, let's go to the stuff inside. Now I'm going to be very careful here because the box is in very bad shape. Okay. Alright, let's pull that open. Okay. I'm also adjusting it as I go along. So I'm going to be carefully pulling this out. Okay. Nothing inside. Okay, so I'm going to put that here. Instruction sheet, we'll look at that at the end. Transparencies. I put that into the plastic bag. I think that's clear. When I first got the kit, I was trying to fix the box up and make it a little bit sturdier, so I added to the Scotch tape, I think. Anyway, to the transparencies. Now, the Wellesley had two main compartments, as you can see from the box. Right? So that's the pilot's cockpit transparency. And let's have a look at that. It's actually very, very nice. I like it. It's molded in one piece, which means if you want to pose it open, you've got to either cut it open or get a vac form replacement and cut that open. But what you get in the box is pretty decent. The other one is the observer's one. Again, it's molded closed, which means if you want to depict it open and have the gunner stand up with his gun, then a bit more work required there. I would leave it alone and just build it as is. The Wellesley had two little windows on either side in the area between the gunner's compartment and the pilot's station, the cockpit. So the windows are provided here. I always have a problem, right? I always forget to put those windows in, and then the result is that I got to prise the whole thing open and stick the windows in again, because they always stick from the inside. Okay, but these are nice and thin, I think. Let's have a look at that. A closer look. Yeah, there you go. Very nice. And very clear. I think the distortion is not that much, and it's acceptable in this scale, I think. That's my view. So that's that. Now, let me just put this aside first. And let's talk about this sprue. This is the bottom of the plane. That's where the undercarriage would be. Not much detail, but at least it's not hollow, it's solid, and it's quite flat, shallow. So anyway, it is what it is. Considering that it's a 1979 kit, I think it's nice that it was all nicely boxed in. Wheels, these come in halves. There are two main wheels, and yeah, they should present a nice beefy appearance to the wheels. Undercarriage doors, okay. Tail wheel, okay. Propeller. There's one propeller here, and I just noticed that there's another propeller. It just fell off the sprue, but there are two propellers. I'm not sure why two propellers are provided. They both look about the same. But apparently there's a reason for that, so we will come to that later. But before I leave this, look at that. I like that texture. Apparently the Vickers Wellesley had a geodesic frame similar to the Wellington. This was invented by Barnes Wallace. You see it on the Wellington, you see it on this plane as well. And then, you cover this with fabric, which is why you have that effect. I think Matchbox did a fantastic job replicating that. That looks really nice. Under a coat of primer and a coat of paint, this would look pretty good. These are the upper wing pieces, and these are in green. Panel line here is in a recessed form. Matchbox always gets into a bit of difficulty, right? They get castigated for that. Their panel lines are nice and recessed, but then they are a bit like trench marks. I personally don't find that an issue. Again, under a coat of primer and a coat of paint, this would look very decent. The geodesic effect is replicated here as well. Looks pretty good. Tail planes, same thing. Yeah. Now these things are panniers, and they are found on the bomber option of the Wellesley. So the little bombs are kept here, 250-pound bombs, I suppose. And then what happens is that they are slung under the wings, and then that's where you have them. I call them panniers. Before I leave this sprue, that thing over there is the pilot's control column stick. I know this because I saw a picture of the cockpit. So that means it's pretty decent, right? It actually has that. Okay, let's put that aside. The brown sprue. Now the brown sprue is interesting. First of all, you have the two fuselage halves which have fallen off. So quick fit together, and they look quite nice. Pilot's cockpit is here. Gunner station is here. The little side window areas are here. But what I wanted to highlight is the brilliant ribbing effect. That is so nice. You have to be careful though when you install this to make sure that you don't lose any of that detail by sanding it off, right, when you remove the seams. But that should be okay. That looks very, very nice. Very, very nice. Now, the rest of the brown sprue is interesting. You have the two pilot figures up here. You have the pilot's seat, which I think is completely spurious. So that something needs to be done about that. Maybe some plastic card detail or something to beef it up, and also the cockpit tub area. What's interesting about the Matchbox Vickers Wellesley kit is because they give you two different noses and two different cowlings. And the reason for that is because the Vickers Wellesley has two different versions in the Matchbox kit. The first one up here is the bomber version from Aman, RAF Aman Transjordan 1938. And it has that classic, you know, Vickers Wildebeest fairy swordfish kind of look, right? The cowling, collector ring, and everything else is on top, and then the fuselage kind of like pinches in, so it has that classic 1930s look. And then you have that, which is a rather more modern look, right? And because you have these two, you have to have different nose areas, and obviously a different cowling. Now, I think that's a brilliant move on the part of Matchbox way back in 1979, right? Instead of just giving you one version, they gave you the option, and they gave you the parts to do those options. And I think they have to be congratulated for that. That was brilliant. I mean, of course, you end up then looking at it and saying, well, I can only build one version. You know, what am I going to do with the spare parts? Yeah. But back in the day, if I was looking at this now, for example, I would probably buy two of these, you know. I would probably buy two of these because then I can build both and then put them side by side and show you the difference between the two. And that would be a brilliant marketing strategy, I would have thought. Yeah. So that's probably the reason why you have two different types of propeller as well. Which one goes where? I suppose the instruction sheet will tell me. So this one is the long range development unit one, and this one is the bomber one, and as you can see, the pannier is there, right? The long range development unit version does not have it. This one looks a little bit sleeker and a bit better put together, right? Reminds me of a Sky Raider actually, but this one has that classic 1930s aircraft look. That bit, I'm more inclined to build that version actually. Now that brings me to, let's put that carefully aside, this, the instruction sheet. Now the instruction sheet is typical Matchbox. One sheet unfolds, and there you have it. Okay, so I'm going to start with the inside. What you see, exploded diagrams. Okay. Yeah. The observer only gets a plank to sit on. I don't think that's quite correct. The pilot gets that and the joystick, and then you have the wheels, the undercarriage legs. Then you have two different engines. Well, the two different mountings, right? And cowlings. And then you have to choose, right, as between either the long range development unit or the bomber version. Okay. And then thereafter, building progresses accordingly. The panniers are there, but the panniers only apply for the bomber version. That's the LRDU version. The panniers, as you can see depicted here, they actually have these little bomb door things. I don't think so. I recall that the panniers were open, but again, I don't know. Okay, so I'll probably have to do some research and have a look at it. The instruction sheet is, well, okay, it's spotted all over with yellow, but it's still very, very readable and usable. Now you flip it over and you have this. You have the potted history of the Vickers Wellesley. Okay, and then you have one of the color schemes here. And you flip it over to this side. You have the other color scheme where this is the bomber version, right, with the panniers here, right? And then some other color callouts here for the specific details. The different cowlings and everything else are also provided for. And this brings me to the saddest part of this video. Very noticeably missing is the decal sheet. Now, I know I'm lucky that the kit is even in more or less complete state. Given the shape of the box, right? The state of the box. But the decals are missing. And I remember seeing the decals, so maybe I was seeing things or something, but I don't have the decals now. I don't have the decals, and so I would like to build this thing, so which means I've got to go and get some aftermarket decals to finish this off. Thankfully, there seems to be a set of decals which are a direct, exact replacement for the kit decals. The brand name escapes me, but I've put down a pre-order for it. Not pre-order, but you know, it's out of stock. Please let me know when it comes back into stock, kind of thing. So once that comes in, I should be able to think about building this. I should, because I think it deserves to be built. It's a really nice model, and put the model basically out of its misery in terms of the keeping it in this horrible box, right? Let me put that away. So there you have it, the Vickers Wellesley Mark I from Matchbox, and I hope to one day build it. And when I do, I will share it with all of you. Okay, I hope this thing does not fall apart on me. It is already falling apart on me. I've got to fix that. There. I hope that that was fun. It was for me, except for the painful bit about the fact that there are no decal sheets. There's no decal sheet. But not to worry, that can be fixed easily. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you again in my next video. Until then, happy modeling.